Morning, everybody. Welcome to Coffee with Casey. It's about the 12th of July. It's time to look back at what happened in the first half of July of 2024 and find out where we are right now. Predicting the future, somebody else's business. All I can tell you is what's happened and where we are and how you operate in a market like this. Strategies change, whether it's pricing strategy or marketing strategy, all of that changes, right? When we base on the market. So let's take a look around. First of all, let me tell you that here are the facts. We have two things that drive the market, right? We have interest rates and we have inventory. What is more powerful? So in the first, probably for the last 12 months, interest rates have been high, right? So that would slow the market down, okay? But the second shoe is inventory, and inventory has been low. So who's going to win? Interest rates, high interest rates, or low inventory? The answer is low inventory won. Low inventory kicked the living hell out of interest rates because prices went up. Prices went up 10%. Can you imagine if interest rates go up and then actual prices go up at the same time? What caused it? Lack of inventory. Everybody thinks, inventory is back. Well, it's back a little bit from last year, but last year was horrible, horrible. Over the long term, the last 10 years, the inventory had in the first half of this year, not spectacular. But you'll see in some markets, the inventory year to date is up, right? So, Vienna is doing fine and the bigger houses, maybe not so much. Oakton is doing okay. But look, Virginia Run is down 12%. Virginia Run is down 62% from where they would normally be. It's amazing at some of these. Piedmont down 47% against its average, right? So, Willisford, the smaller houses, no inventory, big houses, plenty of inventory. All right. So what I'm saying is that, and this is a look into the future, right? Interest rates high, inventory low. Who wins? Inventory, because prices win. Inventory had more of an influence on prices than interest rates. So interest rates are coming down, right? What a shock. It's an election year. They're coming down. If you go back to every election year where there was a contested election, a really tight election, interest rates have fallen in each one of those, the second half of those years. So they're definitely coming down. CPI is coming down, although I go to the grocery store and I don't see it, but they're saying CPI is coming down, unemployment is going up, so that's going to soften the interest rates. Right now, they've gone from 7% to 6.5%. They'll probably be down at 6% sometime in the near future. So the bottom line is, who wins? Inventory wins. So interest rates come down. What's the inventory going to do? If inventory goes up and rates come down, what are prices going to do? The exact opposite of what they just did, right? The excess inventory will hold down prices. It will hold down prices. So everybody's thinking, well, if interest rates come back down, prices are going to go up. No, they won't. Watch the inventory. I watch it like a hawk. We watch it every day. Coffee with Casey, that's why I do it. We watch the inventory. When I'm sitting down with our sellers, watching it like a hawk, couple of things you want to look at. A, what does my competitors look like? B, what percentage of them are under contract? So right now in many markets, most markets, the success rate are sellers in favor of the sellers. Vienna, 67% of the homes in Vienna are under contract. 60% of Vienna, 60% of the homes over $1 million in Vienna are, or over $1.3 million are 60% are under contract. That's incredible. 100% of the homes in Virginia Run, Piedmont, 78%. Dude, these are February, March, April numbers. These are not July numbers. These numbers are usually in the 30% range. Why are all the homes under contract? Because there's a lack of inventory. I'm telling you, if we've learned nothing else from this pandemic of what we've been going through, it is that inventory is more powerful than interest rates, period. Somebody can quote me on that. I'll go to the grave with that. Inventory or lack thereof is more powerful than interest rates. They had more of an impact on the market. If prices went up, and you can look at this price chart, if prices go up 5%, 10%, 12%, they've gone up 10, 12% in some markets, right? In Willisford, on the smaller house, has gone up 19% in the last year. 19%. Interest rates at 7%. Inventory has been more powerful. Inventory has driven these things up. Inventory did not come back, right? Inventory did not come back on a massive level we were hoping it would. Now, as interest rates come down, what happens? Let me tell you the 4 things that are driving the market right now. Divorce, death, downsizing or trouble. You know, they've lost a job or they're struggling and they want to, you know, get something smaller. And now comes in the fourth estate. Okay, the fourth estate that's driving the market right now is what I call the victory tour sellers. The victory tour sellers are sellers that have put their kids through college, got their kids married off, have grandkids, sitting around a big house going, it's our time. It's our time. I don't need a big house. I don't need to be in the best school district. I've already done that. I've been there. I've raised my kids. I'm done. It's time for us, in whatever time we have left, to go on the victory tour. Travel, maybe try living in Florida. Some go into Old Town Alexandria. Some move into the Watergate downtown. They have a place here and a place there. Have some fun, for God's sakes. These are the fun ones. It's sad when you sit down, somebody's passed away and you have to sell a house. It's sad when somebody's getting a divorce, you have to sell a house. It's sad when somebody's lost a job and, you know, in order to avoid foreclosure, we got to sell this house quick. But the fourth estate, the one that are having the fun, are coming out in a big way. We had, I don't know, let's say it was 7 listing appointments this week. 5 of them were over $2 million. 5 of them were victory tour sellers that have just said, hey, we're going out on top. Let's sell it. Let's go out and have some fun. Like condo here, condo there, townhouse here. Let's shake it up a little bit, right? With what time we have left, let's spend it in a great way. That's the victory tour sellers. And that's what's coming on the market. So you will, in my opinion, nothing happens during the 4th of July. But the second half or the third quarter starts after the 4th of July week. And if it's any indication, we had, I don't know, $10, $12 million worth of listing appointments this week. They're all going on. They all want to go. It's time to go. Victory tour in most cases. Very happy group. And they're just going to take advantage of the market. And let me tell you something. It was such a great week that I'm coming up with a brand new thing for Julie to do. Julie, no doubt about it, expert, great at social media, great at getting the word out, phenomenal. It shouldn't be the Casey Samson team. It should be the Casey and Julie team. But we're going to put together a sneak peek at the Casey Samson team pipeline. Because I walk into houses and I see, you know, these new listings coming out. I mean, one, you're sitting on the back porch off the master bedroom and you've got the horses running by. There's horse stables. There's horses running around where you could sit out on your porch at night and watch it with the beautiful sunset and all that stuff and horses running around. Closets that are bigger than most bedrooms. Huge, huge closets. Huge master bedroom bathrooms. Beautiful saunas. Huge wine cellars, right? I have one that you're going to look at a picture of this behind the scenes of our pipeline, and it's going to be like, that's one of the best kitchens I've ever seen. That would be a Mac Daddy of a kitchen in a $3 million home. It's in the basement. It's in the basement of an incredible house. A house where seller's happy to go on at $2 million. And I'm like, we'd be doing a disservice to this house. We went $1 under 2.15 million. because it's just so much better than everybody else. So it's incredible. And I mean, you've got beautiful lots, beautiful backyards, beautiful screen porches. It's just the houses that are coming on are spectacular. So Julie's going to put together, I've given her some pictures. She's going to put together a little sneak peek. Really incredible. You want to know how to do a closet? You want to know how to do a basement? What a real sauna looks like? What really the wine closets look like? It's pretty awesome stuff. So we're going to do that. And so coming out of the gate looks strong for inventory in the third quarter. Again, it's driven by the Victory Tour sellers. They're going to be biggies coming out. So look for interest rates to keep coming down. But when interest rates come down, what happens? Everybody that was thinking about moving up or out is going to do it. So inventory is going to decide. So here's what's going to happen now. We have low inventory. As interest rates come down, how many of these people decide it's time and they put their house on the market? If we go like this and inventory goes up and interest rates go down, inventory easy to see. It's going from 7 to 6.5. It's on its way down. That'll drop rates in July or September. The latest it'll be September. But watch that inventory. It's a sneaky little son of a gun. I'm telling you, it's sneaky. It'll hit you before you know it. Before you know it, you turn around. It's like, wait a minute. We're not competing against 2 houses. We're competing against 20 houses. In 2016, we went from 4 or 5 houses we were competing against to 50 houses we were competing against. And that's when prices got soft. So let's keep an eye. Let's not get crazy out there. Now, here's another thing that everybody has to understand. Is now a good time to sell? The answer is absolutely it's a good time to sell. If you look at the chart from the appreciation rate on a month-over-month basis, and I get this from Rick Jarvis down in our Richmond office. He runs One South, which is the biggest brokerage firm in Richmond. Rick sent me the month-over-month, since 1990 average of appreciation every month. And it shows the chart in January and February, March and April and May, and it levels out somewhere in August. Well, that means that's July sales. The July sales settle in August. So really you're at that peak. You've got the buildup of pricing that's happened over the spring, and we're just taking advantage of that pricing. But I want to caution everybody on this. The buyer pool is smaller. The buyer pool is, I'm not going to say they're pickier, but remember, our prices are really high, okay? So we would normally come to a $50,000, and everybody's got to listen. If you're a real estate agent, you better listen to this. We always come to a $50,000 spread. Is it 1.3 or 1.35? Is it 800? Is it 850? Is it 2 million? Is it 2.15? We're in a spread area, right? And we normally would go with the higher number. We would test that for 7 days and then drop to the bottom number after 7 days. We knew the buyer pool was, okay? This is a time when we're not sure that the buyer pool is here. So you can't test that number. If we would normally say, well, it's 1.3 to 1.35. Let's test 1.35. We can't do that because we're not sure that the market is at 1.3. It wasn't for one of my houses in Oakton. So that test period is the change. In the period that we're in right now, you cannot test the higher number because you're not sure that the buyer pool is at the lower number. So if there's any change that we do right now, it is not being aggressive. Not being aggressive when you're doing when you're putting your house on coming soon. Now, for any seller or agent that's listening, if you don't do a coming soon, that's a huge mistake. It's a massive mistake. You can't break protocol. You've got to do coming soon. You must do a predictive analysis. You must be realistic about where the buyer pool is. If you can't find it, you got to move to it. You've got to move to the buyer pool. Okay. So that's the change that happens in July and August. Now I'm going to send Julie something. I hope she can put it up there on the screen, and this is taped. It's this called the spiral of death. Now, the spiral of death is putting a house on for 1.8 and then watching it just go down the toilet bowl. We drop it to 1.7, we drop it to 1.6, we drop it to 1.5. We eventually 2 years later sell it for 1.35. That is called the spiral of death. Okay. This is something that people are going to get involved in this fall because, you know, they're looking at it, they're pricing it up here, and it's not even here, right? They didn't test. They're assuming this. It's not here. And as the house sits on the market, both of them drop. Where the buyer pool is drops because it's saying, hey, your house ain't worth that much, and they're dropping with you. So you've got to be very careful. If you have two numbers, you must test the lower number, not the highest number. You've got to test the lower number. For that house that we just went at, where I said seller's comfortable at 2 million and I'm not, I want 2.15 because I think it's going to sell for 2.3 million. I can still get there from 2 million. And if I have to move, I will. Is that breaking a protocol? Maybe. I just have too much faith in the house. I thought it was just too great. So, you know, it's every house is different. Every situation is different that we're dealing with right now. Okay. So anyways, let me tell you, and give you another little bit. People want to take early contracts. They want to just get out of this, get it done, get back to the beach, get back to whatever they're going to do, play golf, whatever. You must have backup contracts. You must have a backup contract. We had a situation where we had buyers had to approve of an HOA docs. They finally got them. The seller of this one house was moving to another big house, $2 million home. Settlements in 20 days. Buyer kicks out on the HOA docs. You do that. No, we can do it. They kick out on the HOA docs. We immediately move to contract B. Don't panic. There's only 20 days left. It's $3 million at stake. We go to contract B. Contract B steps in, settles on the same date, same, you know, similar prices, and nothing is affected. The benefit of that is that Billy followed protocol and make sure you have your backup contracts. I know the contract, the people that wanted this house loved it, had to have it. Every reason they gave us why they had to have this house. Gotta have it. Confidence is 100% these people are going through with the deal. They kicked out. You're only as good as your backup guard in football. You're only as good as your backup contract in real estate. Believe it. $3 million down the tube if that backup contract isn't sitting there. So, you know, the backup contract gets the house they really want. They're happy. Sellers are happy. They go through with everything. Billy and I are certainly happy. But all of that is because we price it to a point where we can get multiple contracts. We have the multiple contracts secured. If something happens, we enable the backup contract, and away we go. And we don't drop a stitch. So in this market, we cannot get careless. We cannot get lazy. We have to go through the process. I know it's summertime. Everybody's having a good time. Everybody wants to get to the beach. Everybody wants to go back to the beach. But it is a tough market, and you cannot compromise in this market. You can't compromise. So, you know, so that's where I'll leave you where we are. Where were we for the first 6 months? Appreciation went up, even though interest rates were high. But inventory was low. It didn't really rebound like we hoped it. It would. Now interest rates are down. Inventory, I mean, last week this week is crazy. I mean, it's just nuts. 10, $12 million in listing appointments in 1 week. I mean, extrapolate that out. That's a big week, right? Even for our team, it's a big week. So, And that doesn't count Ferris and John. I'm sure they had their stuff too, but I mean that's just on our little group. So, I see them coming out. I think it's the Victory Tour that's coming out. I think it's a battle between interest rates and inventory. Inventory clearly won the first half of the year. We'll see what happens in the second half of the year. Rates are high. You cannot go with an aggressive number. You need to go with a conservative number because you're not sure whether that's where your buyer pool is. And that is my advice. That's where we are today. My name is Casey Samson. You've been listening to Coffee with Casey. One thing you might want to look for is Julie starting to publish these behind the scenes of the Casey Samson Team pipeline. There is some really awesome, this week was incredible. I can't tell you how many times I've gone and went, oh my God. We don't get that many opportunities, but we have had plenty of them this week. So look for that new session. If you're looking for me, I'm at Casey at CaseySamson.com, or give me a call. I'm bored. 703-508-2535. Today's information we give you is something that you need to know if you're going to operate in this market. Market strategies and market conditions are critical to successful transactions. Again, we'll see you again next week on Coffee with Casey. Thanks for listening. If you're looking for me, it's 703-508-2535. Bye now.